Welcome back, guys. Well, why are so many home sales getting canceled? Not just across the nation, but here in Florida as well. It's recently been reported that up to 18% of sales here in the Sunshine State fell apart last month. And as you guys know, not crazy numbers for me, kind of in line with what I see here in Southwest Florida, though sometimes that is higher. And people are asking me, why are so many cancellations occurring? I mean, if it's not hard to see with the things that are going on in the economy right now, there's a lot of people afraid of losing their jobs. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty up in the air with tariffs and things like that. But I find on my end is most of the time, either the home has just stuff that cannot be fixed or repaired easily, comes out in the inspection period, and the buyers are not going to wait around for months upon months. Like, take something, even potentially like a septic tank. If the septic's bad, it's going to be a little bit of a process. It's going to be at least a month down here to get that rectified, get it through permitting, things like that. It used to take a lot longer. It was actually in Charlotte, it was taking almost like 5 months at one point after the storm. So, inspections and repairs that can't be negotiated out are a big factor. I find that people, up until recently, when interest rates have, pulled back a little bit, people have gone to get quotes on what their monthly payment were going to be, and was just absolutely stunned. People were shocked. It's like, well, a lot higher than they thought, because, people don't keep an eye on the interest rate that much. Insurance, you get insurance quotes on some of these older homes, and that can make a deal fall apart. So a multitude of factors. And again, I don't think 18% is really that crazy. As you guys look around, you will see I'm in Northport today. Going to talk a little bit about Northport stats. This is a new community being built by D.R. Horton here called Central Park. I'll take you through one of their models here as well. But just as I spin around, you can see there's, work to be done. There's a bit of a ways to go here. As you guys can see, they're working on the amenities here still getting off the ground. This is going to be the pool area, pickleball, things like that. So I believe the pool is up here. It's going to be getting finished here shortly, but this is pre-amenity. And you guys will hear a lot in these communities about pre-amenity pricing. I think, people ask me about that. How true is that? I really don't know, guys. It depends on the market cycle, I suppose. I have been in communities where, they'll tell you it's pre-amenity pricing, so you're getting a discount because, like here, the amenities aren't completed. Some locations have taken well over 2 years to open up their amenities. So can you imagine purchasing a home and you don't have a community pool for several years, or pickleball courts, or whatever it is that you want, but you're still paying the HOA? So that's sort of the pre-amenity pricing that they spin. I have seen it, again, since we're in a shifting market, it's so hard to say, but I have seen pre-amenity pricing, and now a year and a half later, the amenities are open and the pricing's lower just because of the way the market is. So I've seen it the other way around as well. It just really depends on what kind of market you're in and where it is in that cycle on what answer I can give there, unfortunately. But I have seen pre-amenity pricing come back to haunt people, because not only did they overpay compared to what, later purchasers in the community bought, but they also went without any access to the amenities for sometimes years. Why I came to Northport today and why I want to focus in on Northport is I just pulled their most recent stats for the month of February. And if you guys have been paying attention to the channel for any length of time, you know that Northport has not had this many single family homes listed at any point in time since 2009. And that was several months ago when I checked. There was about 998 single family homes listed. Today, according to the February stats on the MLS, 1,112 single family homes listed in Northport. Now, some of these are considered in that. I get asked that a lot as well. If they're on the MLS, they're considered active listings. However, if it's just something the builder's doing or they're going to build out, it's not going to show up in my numbers. So Northport listed 272 single-family homes according to these MLS stats in the month of February. They only ended up selling about 127. The interesting thing about that is sales are up 10% from last February. So they sold 10% more homes than they did last year. However, new listings or active listings are up 13% from last year. So it kind of sets it off. So this is probably the worst inventory situation I've seen yet in Northport. It's probably the highest number of single-family homes, again, since at least 2009. According to the MLS, I can, get the Florida MLS versus Florida Realtor numbers later on in the month when the Florida Realtors put those out. But preliminarily, that's what I'm seeing here. And with that being said, average sales price staying untouched from the previous year. From February 25 compared to February 24, in Northport, single-family homes had a 0% change. The median was only down about 3% as well. So even though we have all these listings, the pricing hasn't adjusted year over year yet at this point. So with all single-family properties included, average sales price per square foot in Northport for February, $215 a square foot. That is a 3% decrease from the previous year, taking about 112 days of your home being on the market to get it sold, which, again, historically, guys, just under 4 months, not a terribly long time, but such a drastic difference from what we used to see here. That's a 25% increase from the prior February. I tell you guys all the time, I knew a lot of listings were going to come on the market, but these numbers shock me constantly. That we just keep surpassing last year in every area I look at for total number of listings blows me away every time because last year was so nuts. And to see it increase like this continuously is mind-blowing. It really is. I know I say that. A lot of things are mind-blowing to me, guys. You probably realize that by now. But so as I walk through Central Park, I will take you through one of their models. This is going to be their Aria model. I'm walking by it right now, but the one I'm going to go into is actually this guy here right next door. Guys, so this is their Aria model. It's just over 1,600 square feet, 2-car garage, 3 beds, 2 baths. Right when you come in the entryway, these are your 2 guest bedrooms here over on the left. So you have a split floor plan with this model. We're going to take you through the guest bath, get you a little shot of the vanity and the floors, and the second guest bedroom. So we'll get you back down the hallway now to the laundry area. And because so many people have requested it, I'll show you the garage. I don't normally do the garage, but this is the 2-car garage. A lot of people have been asking to see the garages. We'll get you spun back here to the living area. You can see in the back, you also have an area for dining, which I'll take you back to. Nice size island, single deep sink right here in the kitchen. Here is your pantry. Give you one more loop before we head into the primary bedroom. Lots of light in here. I like that. It's pretty open. And like I said, here's your dining area next to your sliders. So this is the primary bedroom, also a decent size. We'll get you down into the bathroom area. Nice size walk-in closet. And I almost would have liked one more walk-in closet. It's a very big bathroom, though. You get a lot of space here in the bathroom. So I guess that's kind of the trade-off. Obviously, no tub, just a shower. And I want to note, these are impact glass, which is kind of rare to see these days, but I did like that. And this is what the entryway of the community looks like. Just kind of wanted to give you guys a pan of, if you were driving in, the gates are over here on the left. You can see them on the left side. And that's your roundabout to head into the community with the facilities on the right. And I want to touch really briefly on a few things I see that, people ask me like, hey, what should I stay away from? Obviously, aside from insurance and weather risks, like what are the things that can affect a home's value? Since I did show one recently for another subscriber from the channel, a cell phone tower close by. People don't like that generally. In my opinion, just from what I've seen, especially if it's in viewing distance of your front door or your backyard, the closer it is, the worse it is, in my opinion, for resale value. That's a big one. A couple of people didn't. I've said that to people and they were like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. But, it bothers a lot of people. Major power lines, even in the area, upset a lot of people sometimes. Stuff that's not underground, even, I've seen people get upset over, but that's not as much. But major power lines, cell phone towers, proximity to highways. So if you can hear the highway in the backyard, it's going to have an effect on the value of the house. And, when you're just pulling comps on a screen, a lot of agents don't think about that. But if it's within a mile of a highway, there's going to be some road noise. It's inevitable. I'm getting closer to 41 here as I come out of this community. I can hear it. It's not as bad. But if you can see a highway, it's really bad. Honestly, probably one of the largest obstacles I've ever had to selling homes is a 4-lane highway in the backyard ostensibly. And, people need to factor that in. You also need to consider that for your resale. If you're buying, it may not bother you. Everybody's thought is, somebody from New York City or Chicago is going to come and buy it. They're not going to care. And maybe they won't, and maybe you don't. But I would caution, when you go to resell it, it's going to be a big problem. Converted garages, I have a lot of pushback on when I try to sell properties with those. If it's an easy conversion back, maybe, but with the amount of inventory out here, people really don't even want to deal with that at this point. So those are some of the things to keep an eye out. Any high traffic road, I generally say if it's got a passing zone on it or a double line on the road, it's going to bother someone when you go to sell. It may not bother you, but I can tell you it's going to bother someone when you go to sell, especially if the road's busy, just trying to back out of your driveway. People consider that kind of stuff, and sometimes people don't. So, when you, like I said, if you're considering it from a personal use standard, everybody's opinion is going to be different. My thought process on it is if you're looking at it at a potential resale, that's going to be an issue. Just like, if you're buying with a pool and the house is north facing as opposed to south facing, that changes the value. East to west facing, that changes the value. Southwest facing, which is the most desirable usually, increases the value generally. So all these kind of different things you should consider whether you're purchasing or looking to sell. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.